Okay, let's see if this works. Right. Orientation is locked, fantastic. So we're already starting this out with a vertical screen. Isn't that great? Everything's going by plan. Thank you, YouTube, for not allowing me to do this in the way I would like to do. Okay, so how is everybody doing? How are all of you? We are at the Swedish Air Force Museum, and I'm going to take you through a tour of the actual aircraft that we have here in the currently, well, how shall we say, closed off hangar. This is them getting ready for their grand reopening in June next year, July next year. So you're getting an advanced look at how things are going to look then. It's not finished yet, of course, it's not finished, but some of the things like where the aircraft are and so on, that's more or less finalized. So, how are all of you? That's attorney, what, how are you doing? Kingdom of Finland, Regan, Gripen are my favorite European jet fighters. Oh man, we have so much stuff coming up for Inside the Cockpit with those aircraft you wouldn't believe. You're going to be really, really, really excited when you see the sort of Inside the Cockpit videos that are coming out. The museum is not closed, it is open. It's just that this part is being redone. So that's closed off to the public, but not to us. And thankfully, of course, the Swedish Air Force Museum has really, really helped us. They have really, really supported us for all the filming that we've done here. It was absolutely fantastic working with them. So I'm going to take you through a tour here now of what's going to happen. Yes, it is in Linköping. And I'm going to try this one last time. Let's see if YouTube realizes that by now the camera can be put in the horizontal, and that is a technical achievement of the company. No, it can't be. Okay, cool. Well, that's just fantastic. Well, I guess we'll stay vertical. There we go. Right. Okay, now how do I turn off this? No, I don't want to end the stream. Definitely not. It is unbelievable sometimes with the chat. Oh, well, there we go, Mr. Bernhard. Hello. Thank you very much for the donation. Thank you very much for the support. How are you, Bernhard? How is life? I'm looking around. There's no Austrian plane here. Otherwise, I would have immediately run to that. But that's not an option. The Draken is in the other hangar. So not an option here. Okay, so can I somehow see the chat? Live messages. There we go. Okay. Finalizing a script. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so chat. There we go. This is the Junkers Ju-86. Fantastic aircraft in its own way. Did very poorly for Germany, but it did good for the Junkers company because they were exported far and wide indeed. So let's have a closer look. The aircraft has been completely remade for the Swedish Air Force's use. So you won't, for example, see the machine guns, and you'll also see in the back, if we get closer to it, the gondola down there is missing, so there's no machine gun there. And up there, there's also no machine gun there. That's just how it is. And you know what? Why don't we have a look inside? Now, it's gonna be dark, but that's why we have the flash. And there we go. So radio compartment down here with all the radio equipment. And this is one of the easier bombers actually to get into. The ladder is fantastic, and these handholds are fantastic as well to help with that. So let's just jump right in and have a look. Now, this is one of the oldest machines they have, 1930s. So the look is of a 1930s plane, of course. This used to be the bomb bay with of course, these canisters that the Germans used. So you could put either 50 kilogram bombs or a single 250 kilogram bomb in them. And as we move towards the cockpit, first of all, take note of this auxiliary steering stick or steering yoke. That would go right there for the second or the navigator / co-pilot. And then we are in the cockpit. Control yoke, you've got your basic 6, you've got your instrument dials right there. You've got your mixture setting, your throttle, and the fuel cocks are over there together with the hand pumps and the priming pumps and so on. And then over there is the bombardier's position. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I've been through this aircraft about 5 to 6 times now, and I don't want to go this way again. So I'm just gonna lean in as far as I can, because otherwise it's gonna be a struggle to get out. It's gonna take me 5 minutes. But what you can see here is, let me just rest. Of course, the seat that is on rails, you can extend and retract it. You have then over here the altimeter. Next to that would be the speedometer. And then over here we have the manual course correction for the bombardier when control is leveled over to him from the pilot. The door here that we have, let me just further, can also be closed. Branching off this compartment, I'm not going to close it now, but that can be done. And then you can see that's also a hatch here that can be closed by itself. And that's going to segment the cockpit from the rest. I wonder how the co-pilot would see outside the cockpit when using the emergency yoke. You can adjust the height of this chair, as you can see. So you would use this tab right here, this lever, pull that out, and then you would adjust it depending on the height that you require. It's a bucket seat, so you probably want to bolster that out with your parachute. But if this guy is in control, you probably want to have your parachute on anyway. So, oh yeah, the landing gear. This is to deploy and retract the landing gear in manual mode. And I've been practicing my Swedish, everyone. Please do correct me if I get some of the stuff wrong. But väster means left and höger means right. So you activate one or the other, then you do the hand pump, then you go to the other gear, and then you do the hand pump again, and then you extend it that way. And here you've got your indicator lights, whether it's in or ut, which means out. So let's move further back. You've seen the radio compartment. I'm not gonna get back in there. So let's disable the flash and go out the door to the lower side of the aircraft. Now I'm gonna say, doing this with only one arm is a little bit sketchy, but we're out. Whew. Fantastic. Right. Now, can I just check with the chat once again, just to make absolutely sure that there's no way of switching over to the horizontal. When I do this, is it horizontal for you? Yes or no? No. Okay. Thank you, YouTube, a multi-billion-dollar company that cannot change the aspect or the orientation of the camera. Okay, no, I get it, chat. I get it. Thank you. Everybody's saying no. The amount of negativity in the chat is killing me. Oh, somebody goes with yes. Yeah, okay, now the positivity is starting to come. John Adams, Edward with yes. It is for me. Wait, what? Yes? Okay, a chat, you debate amongst yourselves whether that actually worked or didn't. We're going to have instead... No, it's on. It's just, it was off when I started the stream, and that's why somehow it can't be done. So, anyway. J22. Nice little single engine fighter. We didn't film this one, because we got to keep some stuff for next time. And then it is working for the viewers, that is. Are some of you on your phone and that's why it's not working? Anyway, I'm done doing technical force. Okay, this requires some explanation. Does anybody care to identify this plane? I think some people will know. It's working on phone, it's not working on desktop. Well, okay. Next time we'll make sure that it's in horizontal, I promise you. You're on your iPhone and it worked? Okay. So yes, B18, exactly, the Swedish B18. This is not the Bolo. But I'm gonna tell you, it is an absolutely beautiful aircraft, but it is probably one of the worst I have been in terms of getting from and to another cruise station. Once you're in the cruise station, great, fantastic. But getting there is an absolute pain. So this is the pilot seat. You see that? This is the pilot seat. This is the pilot seat. Yeah, you're suspended in midair. So basically you have this footrest here, right? And then you have somewhere up there, it's not really in view right now, but it's kind of there. You have this grip and you're supposed to hoist yourself up there and then obviously put your legs around the control column, yeah? And once you're up there, beautiful, beautiful all around view. The instrument board is pretty solid, but getting there, oh my days. It's, I'm not gonna do it. I'm really not gonna do it. I've done this about 5 to 6 times now. I'm not gonna do it again. There is the Bombardier station. To be honest, I'm 6 foot something, so I'm calling BS on the designers having long legs. There we go. There's the Bombardier station. And then here's the navigator. Again, look at that. He's just like suspended in midair. He's got his footrests here. He's got a pedal and a crank for the bomb bay. And then it's got a table there where also, theoretically speaking, the machine gun should be, but they've removed that here because it really wasn't required anymore in the 1950s when they were still doing reconnaissance missions with this. Ammo storage for the FN 13.2 times, what was it, 99 millimeter machine gun. Got some parachutes there, some maps. You know what, now that I'm standing here, I really want to get inside again. It really was a beautiful aircraft. Well, it still is a beautiful aircraft. It's powered by DB605 engines, so Daimler-Benz engines. I'm told that apparently the Swedish built engines were a lot better quality than the German ones, which, considering that the German ones, we were talking about 1944 engines here, you know, the variants at least of the DB605, I believe it. I absolutely believe it. Let's have a closer look. So you've got the cooling air intake over here. And then we have, of course, the engine, strong, sturdy engine mounts. Then we have the oil tank over there, that's roughly 60 liters, and the oil cooler intake right here. Just going down the ladder. And then we've got the wing tanks that would be mounted here, fore-wing tank, aft-wing tank, and then there's a reserve tank in the fuselage. And then we have the bomb bay. Just gonna put on the flash. That would be the carrying capacity here is 2 internal 500 kilogram bombs or 3 250 kilogram bombs. And there we go. Yes, not being bombed helps, absolutely, and helps you maintain the sort of quality to your production. I'm just gonna have a little bit of a teaser here. I'm not gonna say too much about this one, but you might, of course, know that the B-17 in its anti-shipping operation also had a 57 millimeter gun. That's what it would have looked like. And here's somebody polishing a barrel. That's how you know he's taking good care of this gun. He's polishing a barrel. All right. Then when I came here, I was really excited to see this. That's a Caproni. Turns out this is a static model that they used to film some series. They told me 50s, 60s, maybe 70s, about Swedish pilots. I'm sure some people in the chat will know exactly what I'm talking about here. And actually for a static model, just to have a representation of the Caproni. Oh, actually, Bernhard, if you're still here, Austria flew some Capronis. I'm not quite sure if they flew this variant, but it's as close as I can get you to your home country here. Yes, Karlekar, that's it, yes. Okay, so it was in the late 80s. There we go. These are mainly static models or model aircraft, but in remarkably good condition. They do have still a very active historical flying community in Sweden, with the historical flight or Saab's historical flight as well, where, for example, let's go back this way. That's a Gloster Gladiator with Finnish markings, where, for example, they still fly a B-17. And I actually had a chance to talk to a pilot who flies this machine. Well, not this specific machine, but this machine. Also, I've just been explained also the markings for the plane. So the 3, that's the wing, and the 5, that's the aircraft call sign essentially number, as far as I understand it, which is not always correct on all the aircraft because, as you know, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, a lot of museums did some really dodgy stuff when it comes to coloring aircraft and marking those designations. But that would generally be sort of the call sign. And if it's a number, it's a reconnaissance plane. If it's a letter, it's a fighter, but there were also exceptions to that. But here we go. This is the B-17. J21, yes, just hang on. We have a lot of stuff to go through. You've got the rear seat. And you know what? Considering that Bernhard and I have written a book about the Stuka, I'm not sure. Is it Bernhard? Are you still there? Can you plug that stuff or something? Just go to stukabook.com and you'll find it. And I found so many overlaps now with the B-17, just in terms of design and the thinking behind it. There we go. There's the defensive machine gun. And then up there is the cockpit. Now, I'm not going to step on this one today. I haven't really cleared that with them on this aircraft. Then we have a Fiesler Storch. Classic. Absolute classic. Look at that. Look at that landing light. The size of that thing. That's how you know that you're in business. Yes, that's the Jemkes 86. Full Inside the Cockpit episode is filmed on that. Just gotta have patience. Or you should have come into the stream earlier. Then we were on board. Why no guns? Because the Swedes converted those to passenger and transport and liaison flights. Yeah, this is in German. It's called Storch. If you call it the Stork, to be honest, I'm not somebody who thinks that you have to 100% pronounce everything correctly, because there's so many words in different languages. It's impossible to always get the pronunciation correctly. You can always try. You should always try, but I never blame anybody for getting it wrong. That's where I differ with some members of the comment section, I guess, but not all of you. I know you guys are cool. Okay, so I've been seeing some people mentioning J21s. Are we interested in a J21? Just, you know, a random question, considering it's one of the most magnificent aircraft to come out of Sweden. J21s, anyone? Yes, yes. This is a Reggiane, by the way. And apparently they use this to educate people on how these aircraft were built. Monoc, semi-monoc here, with the stingers between them. Okay, a lot of takers for the J21. I somehow expected that. Somehow expected that. There we go. There's your J21. And there's another J21. Oh, and what's this? What's this? Someone conveniently left a ladder right next to it? What are we gonna do? Lemur, thank you very much. Lemur, just for you, I'm gonna jump inside that. Ignore the fact that the ladder was already conveniently placed there. But thank you very much, Lemur, for becoming a member of the channel. It is patrons and members of the channel that support these trips, mind you. So big thank you to all of you who made this possible. The logistical challenge of making this happen and just paying for the flights and the hotel alone, it wouldn't be possible without you. And of course, there's also Josh, the cameraman, who I recently came up with me here. And yeah, thank you very much. So this is the J21A. There's also an attacker variant. This is not it, but it does have the pylon for a 250 kilogram bomb or a 500 kilogram bomb. And there's also rocket provisions or bombs for the wings. And here, this was completely new for me, but apparently here you can have a conformal drop tank attached with 200 extra liters. I went through the manuals today, and not today, yesterday, and I was really surprised by that. Cooling air intakes, oil air intakes, or oil cooling air intakes. Now, I cannot get on the A1. The cockpit is the old cockpit. It looks very good, but we said, you know, for conservation reasons, we're not gonna get on this one. And we have the Daimler-Benz DB605 there. Now, who's ready for some J21R action? Who's ready? Why doesn't he turn his phone horizontal? Chat, can you handle this and any upcoming future references to phones in the horizontal? It just doesn't work. I started it vertically and YouTube doesn't want me to change. It's a catapult seat. It's not really an ejection seat in conventional sense. It's a catapult seat, but it uses an explosive cartridge. Okay, do we want to get inside this aircraft, chat? Yes or no? I saw some reserved yeses, but I didn't really see any sort of, you know, excitement in the chat. Do we want to get on? Because the handle is right there. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, one person says no. Well, that's it. Okay, one person on the internet said no. So, no, of course we're getting on. Of course we're getting on. Now, I'm gonna have to do some acrobatics here. Chat, do you mind watching the ceiling for a second as I put the phone down? Because otherwise I can't get this fully opened. Give me a second. Okay, elevator music is over. Ta-da! 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 Hand tag means get in. It does mean get in, doesn't it? Look at that. Are we ready? Yes, we are. We are absolutely ready. Okay. And thanks very much there for the $20 donation. Oof. And we're in. And we're in. I'm enjoying Sweden very much. I mean, I'm in a plane. You're asking me questions if I'm enjoying myself. Of course I'm enjoying myself. It's me, my plane, and my stick. What can I... It's me, my plane. Never mind. We're gonna cut that out in post. The seat is actually relatively well, I'm not gonna show you that, but the seat is relatively comfy. It is a bucket seat, so I am in quite low here, and I would be sitting, of course, on a parachute. But overall, it's not too bad. I've had worse. So, you've got your sight, you've got your whiskey compass, you've got your basic 6 essentially laid out in front of you. You've got your fuel tank indicator. You've got your engine dials, so your revolutions, your temperatures control, oil, oxygen flow, oxygen regulator, and UHF radio. Over here we've got your throttle, You've got your wing flaps, and we've got your landing gear. We've got a trim. So the SCEF trim, as far as I understand it from my German, it's probably the SCEF is rudder, right? No, it's either rudder or it's aileron. No, it's aileron. It's aileron, SCEF trim, yeah. And then we have, what is this? This is elevator trim, of course. Oh, it is rudder. Is SCEF rudder? I thought SCEF was aileron. Oh, Swedish. Why are you so confusing? Your drop tanks, and then you have your HT-Kran. I would have to check again. But there we go. That's your stick. Weapons control panel. Electrical systems. Camera, starter rockets, and so on and so forth. Oh yeah, this aircraft, sideways ajar, aileron. So it is ailerons. Why does somebody tell me this is a rudder if this is an aileron? I said aileron. Ha. Together we're an unstoppable force, chat. We figure out everything. So what's the cool thing about the J21 is that it could also be mounting J2 rockets. So you see this area right about here on the A version, yeah? That's where you would mount a J2 rocket on either side. And that then, let me turn the camera, and they would be mounted obliquely. So they're not actually going with the same angle as the boom. They're mounted in such a way that they face inward. So if one fires and the other one doesn't, the aircraft doesn't go on uncontrollably. The forces actually apply towards the center line rather to the side of the aircraft, which is quite a nice installation feature, I find. But yeah, this is the J21. Size-wise, it's really comfortable, I gotta say. It really feels cool. There we go. Now we're enclosed. I'm not going to close this, just in case. Also, I would have to manipulate this handle, and I'm not going to do that now, simply because I don't have that flexibility. But here we go. What more could you want? I could sleep here. Super relaxing. Canopy is complex. Yes, it's complex in the sense that you definitely need somebody else to close it. You can do it yourself. Yes, you can definitely do it yourself, but it's not the most intuitive thing. That's a good observation, Paddy. That's a really good observation. Ooh. There we go. Let's get out and jump into the next aircraft. Okay, so I'll have to put you on elevator music again, and then we will be jumping into the next aircraft. Don't run anywhere. You're going to have to face the ceiling though for just a second as I do this. There we go. Dum dum da 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 dum 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 dum. And we're back. It is a nice ceiling. They have redone all of this, by the way. It's beautiful now for the new exhibition. Very well done indeed. Now, let's close that. And, oh, I have to put you on hold again, chat. 1 second. Dum dum da 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 dum 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 da dum. And we're back. Yes, it's an exhibition. Imagine that, a German with a German accent. Unheard of. Unheard of. I forgot to mention, look at these tracks. Look at these tracks. Have you ever seen such beautiful tracks on a wheel, on an aircraft? I mean, this is a Jeep. This is literally what you would see on a Jeep. Look at this. Look at it. Beautiful. And, oh, before I forget, there we go. Gun pod. 8mm guns, machine guns, 100 rounds each, with a personalized greeting by Pepe the Shark. Now, before I forget, I'm gonna show you some of the cool documentation that I got from the museum for our research. I can show you. Yeah, I can show you this one. There we go. This is for the J21R that we've just been in. And what do you want to know? You probably want to know weaponry, right? Yeah, I know my chat. You want to know weaponry. There we go. That's the whole manual for the weaponry of the J21R. There we go. Big thank you there to the museum and especially Johan for getting all of those for us. It's not an MG 1500-20, it's an Akan 45, which means that this is a 20 by 99 millimeters, which means that it is a Hispano. Here we go into the Saphir, Saab 91, one of the most successful trainer aircraft of all time. Got your basic 6, as you would expect. You've got your landing gear, don't touch that. You've got your flaps, and you've got your Bleerbachtung. What is that? What is Bleerbachtung? Any Swedes? Even more successful than the Alpha Jet? Well, you know, it is one of the most successful trainer aircraft of all time. For a prop plane, perhaps not as successful as something like the AT or the T6 Texan, but it is very successful. Okay, so this is the balance, yeah? Back heavy, front heavy. Okay, that makes sense. Also got a very scary looking third seat in there. Oh, it's the trim. It's the trim because it's written differently than the actual trim what I've seen on other aircraft. So I feel like this is having this as the balance makes more sense, considering that perhaps with additional weight in the back, things would change. And that is not in actual fact the trim. This is the throttle. But you tell me, chat, especially if you're Swedish. If you're not Swedish and you don't speak the language, well, thanks for your contribution, I guess, but... There's another trainer aircraft. And this one would, of course, be the T6. Ah, you're Finnish, but you did study Swedish. Yeah, well, Finland is officially still a 2-language country, right? You have everything in Swedish as well. At least last time I lived there. What a glorious good time that was. Deutsch als Nebenfach, sehr schön. Now, this is being redone for the grand opening. They're gonna have a new simulator here, SK60. Do check it out, it's awesome. Up there, in fact, there's also a simulator for Saab Gripen, which is amazing. I actually flew in that simulator. We've got footage of that, and it was really great. Eric, who was supervising us there, fantastic bloke. He was really on it and just taking me through the strides and explaining to me how Gripen works. And then I was in another Saab Gripen simulator as well, but that's going to be a surprise. Daimler-Benz 605, and we've got a Jupiter over there, the Bristol Jupiter. I didn't actually recognize this at first. Had to check what it was, but it makes sense that it is a Jupiter. And we have a CR42. And then you have something here that you don't see that often either. That's a Seversky P35. Really beautiful aircraft. This is not a Seversky. This is the Seversky now. Yeah, if you want to do the simulator with the Saab Gripen simulator, you should definitely have to book it in advance. Make sure, as soon as you know that you're going to Sweden, make sure you book. They have one downward facing camera for recon flights, one mounted obliquely here in the center line. So if you're flying over a target in a steep bank, You can take pictures with that one. And you don't have to fly directly over it with this camera. And yeah, I must say, actually, the silver interacts really well with this bright yellow and this blue there. Saw some people pointing that out in the chat. Absolutely, I agree. CR42, of course. We also have the J26, which is the, what is it? The the Mustang. Nearly blank there on the Mustang's name. Also in Swedish colors, of course. Looks very nice. There's yours sincerely. Ah. Acrobatics. There we go. We've got the S6B, as the Swedes call it. Observation aircraft here. Probably could do some light bombing as well. And I always love it with these aircraft when you have the speedometer here. The pilot is there. His speedometer is here. The anemometer. Good old times. Skis, of course. That's a common phenomenon with a lot of Swedish aircraft. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, is that an electrical generating? Yeah, there must be. Oh, I didn't even see that earlier. I discover things. I saw just over an hour ago, I saw a picture, I believe, of this one when it flew at the very airbase where the Swedish Air Force Museum is located at, back in the day. Yeah, pilots are supposed to have good eyesight, but you know, still, you don't want to put it on the wing. But it was a, shall we say, a concession to the time. Especially the Germans didn't really know how to make speedometers back in the day. Right, let's go towards the actual exhibition area that is currently accessible. If you're wondering, by the way, the plastic sheets there, those are mainly to cover the planes and cover them from dust as the restoration are happening. So that's obviously going to go away. Now, as we're going to the main area, let me just remind you, we are now in a public space. So sometimes I'm going to put the camera somewhere where there's nothing, just to avoid other people, right? So, are you ready? Some really, really, really neat features in the other exhibition hall as well. So let's close this carefully. There we go. And now I'm going to have a brief detour to the DC-3 exhibition, which is really cool. You might have heard of this. This is a DC-3 that was shot down during the Cold War by the Russians, or the Soviets, by a MiG-15. It was conducting some operations over the Baltic Sea. It's not really an area where you can film well, but you definitely should go here and look at it. So yeah, there you can see the wreckage. And if you come to the museum, you should come down here and read about this story, because it really has to be experienced yourself. There's a yes, there is also a Catalina affair. This is the DC-3 affair, but there's the Catalina that went out to rescue the crew after they have been shot down, and they were shot at as well by Soviet fighters. Right, going up these stairs. And let's look at, in fact, the Catalina that was fired at by the Soviets. And that's it. That's the very Catalina that went out to save the crew. They weren't found, by the way. All 8 crew members were dead, as far as I understand it. And there you have it. That's the Catalina. We've got a Venom in front of that. The Swedes also used Venom and Vampire. And then we have Little Draken, which was the concept study for the Draken's wing. You can see the same wing shape as later featured on Draken. And what I'm being told is that it never had red paint initially. It was black paint. But apparently it got, what was it again? I think it got damaged during transit or transport at some point, and a repair workshop man repainted it in red because he thought it looked cool. So there's that. Itty bitty tiny engine. I don't know if you see much or if it's even still installed. No, it's not. You can see how tiny that is. That's my thumb for scale. Then we are gonna swing around and gonna have a look at these J2 rockets. Raketkapsel. So yeah, Catalina, if you thought it couldn't get any cooler, attach some J2s. Why the heck not? Let's have another look here. Let's see if I can lift the phone. Yes, I guess red does go faster. We've got the official confirmation right here in Sweden. Tried and tested and approved by Saab. Yes, the J2 is on the Catalina. Absolutely. Right. Anybody interested in a MiG-15? Well, there is one right there. In fact, above the Catalina in a precarious attack position. And then we have the Pembroke. Right about here. There we have the MiG-15. Tunan. Let's go up the platform here to get a better view of everything. Let's see. Yes, this will give you a very nice overview of everything. First of all, Lansen. Oh, I thought that was a person for a second. Gripen. Gripen. We've got Vegan. We've got Voodoo Machine number 1. We've got Voodoo Machine number 2. Voodoo Machine number 3. SK60. And then we have, what's it called again? Bloodhound? I think so. And we have a Hawker Hunter in one of the earlier variants, because you can see there is no thingy there. Just waved at someone in the chat. And then we go, here we go. We have Draken. And Tunan over there. And Vampire. And then there's a Spitfire here. One of the sad stories about the Spitfires in Sweden... Wait, is that... Chat, do you see this? Oh, I'm easily abused. I'm very easily amused. Did you see that? Come on, that's not possible. What is that? Chat, can you identify that? That plush, whatever it is having the time of its life. Is that a... Yeah, it's a doll, but what kind of doll? Anyway, apparently all the Spitfires that the Swedes had were scrapped in the 60s on behalf of, well, on the request of someone who essentially said, we only look forward, we don't look back. And this one is, as far as I am aware, a, well, not really a copy, but a representation. Let's have another look at Gripen here. I'm gonna just say this is a sneak peek for something that's coming up. That's all I can tell you now. But you will be amazed once you see what's coming up. Oh, look, that's the Draken with the later one with the radar warning receiver right there. Also has the electronic warfare pod behind here with chaff and flares. Then you have the air brakes right about there. There's a retractable wheel, a tail wheel here. I believe they had Griffin Spitfires. They had late war versions and well, early Cold War versions, yeah. And then no forward-firing firepower on this Lansen, although it could feature up to 4 Akan, what is it, M55s, 30mm aided guns. And this is a conformal fuel tank, which apparently improved the flying qualities of the Lansen, which is cool. They didn't realize that until they tried it, and then they were like, "Oh, actually, it's flying better with this thing here." Huh. So yeah, I think this brings us more or less to the... No, there's one more thing I want to show you, absolutely. First of all, once again, your kind reminder of support aviation museums in your vicinity. And if you come to Sweden, absolutely make it your mission to go to the Swedish Air Force Museum. Because these places do deserve your support and they have to be kept alive in order to preserve this history in the planes. Because without museums, those planes disappear. There's also a couple of Cold War exhibits that explain to you a little bit of what happens in Sweden during this time, what sort of the general trends are in the military and in society. Of course, typical sort of Cold War vibes going on here. This was before IKEA existed. Right, the rubber tires are used in fire extinguisher cards? Really? I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. And let me show you one last thing. And that's this. This is basically the air defense system, or the integrated air defense system. And I believe they are resetting here the DC-3 incident. Let's see, first of all, if there's anybody in here. No, it's safe. So, this is pretty cool. We've got the tracking radar plots here. And that's sort of the general map of the incident. And any second now, something's gonna happen. Any second now. Any second now.
Det står 163 på fenan. Och nu svänger han höger.
Uppfattat. Följ honom.
Ja.
Oh, there you go. You can experience that yourself once you're over here. Are we getting Battle of Britain vibes here? Yes, we are. Very much so. Let's have a look. What is this? The RB24? This must be RB24. Yeah, stand-in for it. RB24, of course, Sidewinders. So the way it is done in Sweden is that they have their own designation system for the missiles. And RB stands for robot, which means missile. And the number is then obviously designating the type of missile. And if it is a even number, it means an IR homing missile. Hey! That's my cameraman right there, having the time of his life, because he's finally off. Because he's finally off and we've filmed everything. No, he's a good lad, Josh. So yeah, even numbers are IR homing missiles, like 24, RB24 or RB74 later on. And then there is the uneven number, of course, and that is radar homing, exactly. So, for example, Iris-T is now RB101, and so on and so forth. I get to let the cameraman go free, absolutely. Once he's done his job, he should enjoy himself as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Robert Whitwer, thank you very much for that donation and for the support. Thank you very much indeed. It is your support also for donations, Patreons, and channel members that make this sort of content possible. So thank you very much. Now, I've been through all the museum. Is there anything you guys want to see that you saw on the stream in a little bit more detail? Let's do one or two more things. Let's see. RB71 Skyflash. There we go. And later on, of course, when they imported AIM 120s, those became the RB99s, right? And they had also RB26, so Falcon. Planes outside. It's raining outside, I think. So I'd rather not go outside at the moment. Vegan Draken. You guys have to wait for our Inside the Cockpit episodes of that, I'm afraid. So, of course, you've seen the Vegan and the Draken in this hangar, but they're suspended. But there's another hangar in an undisclosed location where they have a lot of aircraft. And yours sincerely may or may not have had access. So you just have to wait for that. J22. Is it dark outside already? I guess we'll find out. Usually we come in the dark and we leave in the dark. That's sort of my filming days. Oh, I can show you something very quickly, but I have to check if it's possible because we have to go through an area where there's a lot of families. That's usually not the best place to sort of stream from. No, there's a J21 and there's two J21s. Oh. Yeah. Okay, just making sure there's no one. So we're now in the, I call it the kiddie section, but it's very important because you've got to amuse these kids. Let's see if we can have a closer look at the simulator, the Gripen simulator that is in the museum. Let's see. Oh, it is currently in use? Yeah, that's fine. So, very briefly. There we go, that's the Saab Gripen simulator. And that, in fact, is Eric, who helped us yesterday as well. He's awesome. Inside the Cockpit episode of J21? Yes, absolutely. And there we go. There's the new exhibition area that's going to be unveiled in June, July. So make sure you come to the museum then if you live in the area, and if you visit Sweden in the summer, come here, check it out. And also the summer in Scandinavia and Nordic countries is one of the best times to visit. The sun doesn't sleep, people are friendly, everybody's having a good time, just frolicking in the fields. I'm speaking of experience. I lived in Finland, which is a Nordic country, not a Scandinavian country. Just because I know there's at least one Finn in the chat. Retu, I'm looking at you, making sure that, yes, I know the difference, absolutely. Right, I'm going to cross the barrier here because I'm allowed to cross the barrier. Right, super secret mission engage. I'll get on to one more aircraft. You know what? Let's do it. Let's go for broke. One more aircraft to finish off the stream. What am I going to do? Ha 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 ha. Well, there is a Gloucester Gladiator in Finnish colors. But also, oh, if you're a model maker, mind you, I've been told this on a very high authority that Hawker Heart has the wrong camo. And a lot of model makers are basing their models on this Hawker Heart because it's in a museum and they think it's correct. Again, 60s, 70s, 80s was a horrible time where people just sprayed aircraft in whatever way they wanted to. That is apparently not an official paint scheme. Somebody wanted to have an extended look at the biplanes. Absolutely, here's your biplane. A crankshaft for the engine to let it on. And there's your cockpit. There is your cockpit. There's the hand pump for the priming of the engine. There we go. Cables, control cables, must be careful. P51 Mustang J26 in Swedish designation. I think we all know this plane. I don't need to have to get on that one for now. All the instruments you need? Absolutely, all the instruments you need. CR42, one of my all-time favorite biplanes. However, conservation risk, can't get on. Nope. I think I know what I'm getting on. I think I know. I'm going for broke. I said I wouldn't do it. I said I wouldn't do it because I've been on there a couple of times now and it hurts. It's beautiful, but it hurts. But I'm getting on. I'm getting on. I'm psyching myself up already. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Do we see it? Do we see it? Do we see it? What am I getting on, chat? What am I getting on? What am I getting on? What am I getting on? The Gloucester Gladiator! No, of course I'm getting on the B18. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, this is where my luck runs out and I die. I'm gonna have to transport this ladder. Gonna have to be careful. I'm not gonna go for full-on risk here. Because alone this is scary. Okay, are we ready? You have never seen something like this in your life before. I can guarantee you that. You're dying for content, so it's worth it. Well, there's somebody who understands the internet and the influencer business. Oh, Josh is here, Frank. Josh is here. And yes, the travel budget is made available by patrons and channel members, and it's only because of them they can have a cameraman here and actually film these many episodes. If I don't have a cameraman, just to give you an idea of how it goes, if I don't have a cameraman, I can film 2 episodes in the same time that I can film roughly 6 with a cameraman. Just to give you an idea. As I'm trying to get on here. Okay. Yeah, it's in fantastic shape. They've restored this. This is the only one that is left. Let me try to put the camera in a stable place as I get on. Right. For your general amusement. For your general amusement. Okay, I have to check this. I can take on. Yep. Okay, we're in. Now, here we go. Here we go. Ha! Ha ha! We're in. We're in. Right, chat. B18. We're in. The whole thing inside the cockpit is coming up, courtesy of patrons and channel members, courtesy, of course, of the Swedish Air Force Museum and all the people who have made it possible for us to come here and film. Big thank you, of course, to the Swedish Air Force Museum. Visit them, support aviation museums, make it sure that you do this still this year. Go to your local aviation museum and make sure that you support this sort of history. And just make sure that this sort of stuff stays alive, because otherwise it will disappear. You have all of this at your disposal in local museums, and of course specifically here at the Swedish Air Force Museum. And you know what? I'm gonna get in the bombardier seat just for the heck of it. And then I'm gonna probably fall asleep right here, right now. Because I'm a happy bunny. This is the weapons control panel for the B18. Some information for the bombardier. This I still have to figure out. Some footrest panels here. And there we go. Don't be jealous. All of this is coming to inside the cockpit. You're going to experience all of it with me together in the full-on episodes. So big thank you here to all the people that made this possible. Big thank you to the Swedish Air Force Museum once again. Big thank you for you to join me today. Next time I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna start this out in horizontal mode so YouTube doesn't get like a brain aneurysm as I'm trying to manipulate the the flip phone thing. Yeah, it just doesn't want to do it. It keeps telling me off. And yeah, I hope all of you are having a fantastic day. Thank you very much for joining me. Big thank you also to the people who have donated during the stream. Robert, Bernhard, there was one member, sorry, I'm too excited, I forgot your name, and another donation. Thank you very much for that, absolutely. Let's see if I can send something in the chat. Back to following caption, okay. And yeah, have a great one and see you in the sky. I think I'm really going to stay in the cockpit here now and just relax. It's been a really, really busy week. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Goodbye. Have a good one.